You know, nearly every spring we have homeowners that come in and their yard's been just destroyed by voles throughout the winter months. And what's interesting about voles is you can have 2 voles in November, but by February you have 200 voles, and so they multiply very, very quickly. They're really cute. So this is what voles look like. They are about the same size as a mouse. They have a very short tail, so their tail is maybe only an inch long, and they have a lot more rounded features to them. But they reproduce very, very quickly, and as they reproduce, they like to get underneath the snow, especially where there's kind of a cushion there. So they love getting out in the lawns in the wintertime because there's all this grass there, and then the snow sits on top of it, but the soil's down here. You know, the soil's down here instead of where, you know, the grass kind of holds the snow up on top, and so it kind of makes this pocket of area where the voles can just have a heyday all winter because there's not as many predators out there. You know, it's wintertime, you've got a foot of snow on the ground, they're just having a play day underneath the snow. And in the spring, the snow melts off and you have big dead patches where the voles have all kind of congregated together, and then there's little trails that run all over through the lawn, and it really does a lot of damage, and it takes a long time for it to come back. So there's some things that we can do to prevent that damage in the first place before the snow really comes. Now, what we usually recommend is, as the weather starts to change, as the leaves fall off the trees and you're gathering leaves up with your lawnmower, you know, start dropping your lawnmower blade down so that your last mowing, you know, sometime in November, we've even mowed as late as the first week of December if there wasn't a lot of snow on the ground. Make sure that mowing is down really, really close. You know, drop your blade almost right down to the ground so that there's not that big cushion of grass in there for the snow to sit on top of, so it leaves that gap between the soil and the snow where the voles can really have a heyday out there. Then use a repellent as late as possible. You know, watch the weather. When it looks like it's going to snow and it's going to stick, you know, get out there, mow the lawn really close, and then you can use a repellent like MoleGo. Now, the MoleGo comes either in a liquid or in a granule. This is an all-natural product. It's made from castor oil. Castor oil is non-toxic to pets or people. Won't even hurt the voles, but they just hate the smell of the castor oil, so they'll just leave and go somewhere else. Preferably they'll go to your neighbor's house, but you never know where they're going to go. But with the MoleGo, you can apply it as a liquid, and we just hook it onto the hose and just spray that out. You can do the perimeter of your property, you can do the lawn, you can do whatever areas you think that need to be protected. But whether you're using the liquid or the granule, you're going to get good coverage. You know, 5,000 square feet for a bag, 10,000 square feet for the hose end, and it lasts about 4 to 6 weeks. So if you can get it on right before the snow comes, it's actually going to last longer because the UV light breaks it down quicker. So you get it underneath the snow, it's going to keep that scent there for a lot longer, and it's going to drive the voles away. 1, prevent them from coming back in. 2, and then you won't have nearly as much damage in the springtime. What we found also is if the snow comes and you've got like an ATV or you've got a snowmobile, kind of pack that snow down around the exterior of your property. Usually when you get a lot of voles, it's because you've got a vacant lot out back, you've got a field next door, and those voles are coming over because there's a great source of food in your yard. And so, you know, watch for those areas. If it's a problem you're struggling with, this is really going to help. And by compacting that snow down around the exterior of your property, the voles can't get in underneath the snow because you've compacted it down right down to the soil. And it kind of creates a barrier for them to access into your yard. Works great. If you want to put some bait out there, this is one of the best baits available. This is a zinc phosphide bait. Now, the zinc bait is only works first generation, only works on rodents, and say bunch of voles eat this bait and they're dying, and your dog comes and eats a couple of the voles, it won't hurt your dog at all. And so it only works on the first generation consumer, and so won't hurt cats, won't hurt dogs if they're eating the voles after they've eaten the bait. And it's actually much less toxic for birds as well too. But we want to hide this bait so the birds don't get it. If you see holes in the ground where the voles have created tunnels and warrens already, take a couple tablespoons of the bait, you know, open that hole up a little bit more, drop the bait down in there, cover the hole up with a rock or a brick or something so they can't get back out. They'll try to come out, can't get out. Food's right there. They get free lunch. So the baits work great that way. We've also made bait stations. We've taken 2-inch PVC pipe, cut the ends off the PVC pipe, put the bait right inside. That way it's protected from the weather, from the elements. Doesn't hold up well against water, so we want to keep that bait dry so that it is more attractive to the voles to come in and eat. The voles like to go inside things where they can escape in 2 different directions, so they can escape back out where they came in, or they can see a hole on the other side, so they become very comfortable in there, and then they can eat that bait. So the bait stations work great. You can put them in strategic locations around the yard. Make sure and put new bait in there at least every month so you've got some fresh bait out there. They don't like to eat stale bread either, so they'll do it if they have to, but if it's fresh, it will work a lot better for you. So between the bait and creating some bait stations, we can try and decrease their numbers throughout the winter time, but we can also use a repellent that's going to make them go somewhere else so they just don't get damaged in the first place. So voles can really do a lot of damage, and sometimes it can take almost the entire summer to get your grass to recover and to come back. So if we can prevent them and stop them before they do the damage, it's going to really save you a lot of time and a lot of money in the long run.